Hello, my name is Bernard Gregory, co-founder of Virtual Branding Solution, father and 3 sons tech team. UMYO. I'm asking your opinion. For so long we've been told that we do not have a voice, but we have a voice. So this is a Noah's Ark production. Think about that. And you're going to see from time to time as I'm speaking, I'm going to be saying, think about that. Let that set in. A Noah's Ark production. And some of you have never heard of Noah's Ark. If you haven't, I just want you to pause the video and go and look at Noah's Ark. Just research it, right? Bing it, Google it. Noah's Ark. It's a parable about an older gentleman who received a dream, right, from the Creator. And the Creator said that there's going to be a flood, and to invite as many people into the village, everyone, invite them into this ark that I want you to build. And when it floods, those individuals that's inside of that ark, their life and their family lives and their stocks will be saved. Well, it took them 40 years to complete that ark. So I'm sure after year 20, people's like, man, going on with that. It's not gonna flood, right? 40 years. Well, it flooded. And the only people that was inside that ark was his family. So they were the new world. And as you can see now, there's so much that's happening in this world to where the new world is coming. So when the Creator gives you a dream, it's imperative that you share that dream with His people. He says in Acts 2:17, in the last days, God says, I will pour out my Spirit on all people. Your sons and daughters will prophesy. Your young men will have visions. And the old men will dream dreams. Well, I'm kind of an old man now. I have a dream. Kind of reminds you of the Martin Luther King, right?
That one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners, will they be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood? I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream.
All who are logical thinkers, all who can separate themselves from their emotions. Are you able to release yourself from your emotions? You can still hate. You can still have envy. You can still have strife. You can still have conflict. And you can still work together. The country is divided for a purpose. But with the dream that was given to me, your family and their family will make it to this new world. And as most of you know, AI will be replacing over 800 million jobs by 2030. What about 2040? By 2050? What about 2060? The next 30 years. If you're not going to be here, who's going to be here? Your children, right? So it's imperative that we do what? We prepare them for the future. So if He gave us a dream, then that means that He gave us a solution that we all can listen to. Remember, if you are emotionally driven, this may not be for you. If you can look at me right now and already prejudge, then there's something wrong. And it's not something wrong with me. It's something wrong with the traumas that have been in your life that caused you to feel this way. So this may not be for you. We're looking for 2 million individuals. I'm not going to be asking you to donate to help our communities. We're just looking for 2 millions of billions of people who can just think with logic without the emotions. 2 million. I have a dream. And those 2 million people who can say, despite how I feel about a certain ethnicity, a certain gender, a certain individual, the life of my children and their children's are more important to me now more than ever. Those are the people that we're looking for. 2 million out of billions. Are you that person? And if this means that we can save a generation of people in the now, because people are hurting, violence everywhere, it's chaotic, mental illness everywhere, people are hurting.
Pulled out of a Chevron gas station on Hiram Clark. Detectives say security cameras show a man and woman getting into a white Lexus, then running a stop sign, then running into a Toyota, which had the right-of-way. The 2 vehicles had a minor accident. The driver of the Lexus gets out and fired at least 5 rounds into the Toyota, killing the driver.
It's happening way too often. Cameras all over town capturing violent carjackings.
It was pretty traumatizing.
A quick crime with a huge score.
Before I could get into my car, he jumped me.
It's himself up against a convenience store worker with his own weapon.
Four local men accused of being part of what prosecutors call a white supremacist gang. Investigators say the gang is responsible for violent crimes. And prosecutors say the gang engaged in murder, kidnapping, and robbery, as well as other crimes.
The footage you just watched shows the last known moments of 11-year-old Carly Bruscia as she was abducted in broad daylight.
They seen the girl being taken. That's how I found out that Shauna was kidnapped.
I just walked out on the bridge and I looked down and there she was.
You get a sick feeling in your gut. You know, I'll never forget what happened to her.
There's gunshots up at the church!
Oh, so hard to listen to. New tonight, we are learning more about the tragic moments inside the Covenant School as staff members and family called 911.
Randall Cook never made it home to his family after his last delivery in Pasco County earlier this month.
Worth of evidence that led them to arrest and charge Oscar Solis with murder.
This was absolutely a horrific crime of passion.
He's accused of brutally killing Uber Eats delivery driver Randall Cook, who was reported missing by his family last week.
You always said we're evil, but this is demonic.
So I'm going to share this dream that was given to me. And this dream, I'm going to break it down to the smallest common denominator that even a 3rd grader will be able to understand. And most of our youth, because we work with the youth, when they listen to it, they're just like, oh my God. It's like, but Mr. Cherry, what about the adults? And what do you mean about the adults? They don't listen. We get it. They don't get it. I'm talking to the adults. The youth are already on board. And there's so many more youth, once they hear this, they're going to be like, this is what we've always been asking for. The question becomes again, as adults, are we so wounded and traumatized by life that we can't hear what makes sense logically? And we're about to see. There's no one that's providing a solution for an entire country. But we're starting one city at a time. reminder. By 2030, I'm talking to all of you who think your door is not going to be knocked on. Talking to all of you who feel like no one is going to knock on your door. Just spoke with a lady yesterday actually, and she was sharing with me that she lost her job to technology. By the year 2030, over 800 million jobs will be replaced by technology. Where's the solution, people?
That they were talking about were very stunning. They said it's going to take 800 million jobs by 2030. Now that's not that far off. It's only 13 years away, less, just a little bit more than a decade. What we've seen, they're talking about 800 million global workers are going to lose their jobs by 2030. With the American population floating somewhere around 350 million, that's very significant. And they're talking about replacing them with robotic automation. So they actually don't need us. Now that's major numbers, that's shocking numbers. And just when we thought everything was going so well. Literally exists with a stock market that can be triggered at any point for any reason.
Where's the answer? There has to be an answer, right? But we can't see an answer if we're so into our emotions and we're following the directions of mom and dad, which is Republicans and the Democrats.
Not that it's not directed to you. I will not sit here and be pointed at and told that I am sitting in a position of white privilege.
This isn't about you. That's the problem with
How is it not about me?
It's not about you. I'm talking in general. I am talking in general.
How is that in general?
If you let
I
me
would
talk,
never sit in this
If you let me talk, I would be more than glad to tell you. Can I finish?
You better take better care with
Can
your
I?
words.
Don't tell me what I better do. Thank you. My point is, when we have a country that was built on the backs of slavery, the things I still feel today as a black woman, there is no making America great again. It implies that we want to go back to racism, heightened racism, because it still exists today. It implies we want to go back to, having KKK out and about. They have a social media presence, but having them
Yes, I know.
be
I've
out
been
and about
threatened by them twice.
like what's
Yes,
happened
I'm on their
recently
hit
since
list.
Trump has been elected.
When I hear Make America Great Again, I think he's just talking about the numbers, economic growth. To say like all white people think that way is wrong. It's just talking about how when we won World War II, we defeated the Nazis, we were the best country in the world at the time, given the fact all the segregation in the South.
So that's why I think it's dangerous though, because it's too broad.
I just feel like even if he made it Make America Economic, they would say, oh, he's trying to take the minorities out and make it more economic. Anything that he would say, they would attack.
And they're keeping us divided where we can't think for ourselves. And those who are, there's not a platform for them to be able to unite, problem solve, come up with solutions that's going to save their life. It's affecting everyone. It's not just affecting the Nubian entity, the Europeans, the Hispanics, the Asians. It's affecting everyone. And everyone eventually is going to be on that short list to where when you get that knock, and we're saying we no longer need you anymore. 800 million jobs. There's no more security. So if we're continuously asking for handouts from a system that has not given us a handout since the beginning of time, and we keep voting these people into office who can't help us, then we're missing the most important factor, the answer, the solution that has been in front of our face since the beginning. Democracy. Democracy simply means rule by the people. What do you mean by that? That means the people can come together despite their prejudices, despite their racism, despite their disagreements, despite their belief system. They can come together and they can say, we can work out a solution amongst ourselves. Let's show the system how it's supposed to be done, because they're divided and they're never going to come together. And if we're honest with ourselves, especially those who are logical thinkers, we're not necessarily Republicans or Democrats, right? Because we see fault in both. I can't just point out the faults in the Democrats and as if I don't see any faults in the Republicans. I can't just point out the faults in the Republicans if I see the faults of the Democrats. I have to see both. And I have to say to myself, none of y'all are still working for the people and we're continuously voting into office.
I feel like a lot of it is like written or handled, or it's already set up the way it's gonna go, so what more could my vote do?
Well, as you can see, many people had various reasons for why size our democracy. We thought you loved voting. This is just what the people want. We're just following the desires of the people. Starting to pray. But the other reason they're doing it is to make a mockery of democracy. Right? To make it seem like elections are just fake. Oh, hey, you in the West, you say that voting is what makes things legitimate? Well, here's what we call a vote. What, are you going to criticize our democracy? We thought you loved voting. This is just what the people want. We're just following the desires of the people. You sort of tally, take a sort of, back of the envelope tally in terms of how we're heading as a world in terms of authoritarian and indeed fascist forms of government versus small d democracy. One side's winning right now.
Where's the solution? And you're sharing with us. When you become elected and you're looking for our vote, you're sharing with us what you're going to do. But nobody has done it before you. And there's never been transparency to where we're able to see what you're able to do. So there comes a time when we have to take matters into our own hand and we have to just think. Don't have to be marching. Don't have to be any type of violence. Don't have to be knocking on their door begging them for anything. If you continue to beg me for something and you become dependent upon me, again, like mother and father, guess what's going to happen? Depending on who I am, what type of person, spirit it is that I have, I can treat you any way that I want to treat you. And that's what's happening. We have to continue to believe that there is a way that we can do this with democracy. It's in our face.
Recent elections, about 4 in 10 eligible voters stayed home. We talked to a few of the people who are not voting this time around.
My name is Clifford Janice. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, currently residing in Denver, Colorado.
Hi, I'm Ellie Bana. I am a Greek-American dual citizen, born and raised in America, but living in Greece now.
My name is Ron Jr.
My name is Mariam Alami. I'm not voting in this election.
I would have never thought that I would not be voting or would even consider not voting. I never. I've always, it's my civic duty or it's my patriotic duty or even my desire. I want to do it.
This year is the first year where I just don't feel like, I don't feel represented or heard.
I'm not voting because no one has earned it. No one has earned my vote. If I can't have a candidate that I feel is going to actually represent me, then why should I vote?
I don't feel like anyone's doing anything that's really going to create change and kind of bring us back to a place where we're not having these continual tensions and issues that we've been having for centuries.
If there was a candidate that spoke to my concerns, spoke to my interests, shared my politics, and maybe I would consider voting.
Because I am overseas and I waited too late in the game for an absentee ballot, then it's okay, should I get on a plane, fly to New York for a couple days, cast my ballot, and come back? And because neither candidate inspires me that much, I'm like, I'll just sit this one out.
If we live in the land of the free, the home of the brave, and we have freedom to choose, then give me that freedom, give me the choice. Instead of just giving me these two steaming piles of waste on which to decide from.
This past year, it's been a really, really volatile year. A lot of countries are facing political crises, and really it's a lot of young people like myself who are really, really dissatisfied and are realizing that voting is not the only way to make our voices heard. If we want to actually organize ourselves, we shouldn't see electoralism as our only option. We should be empowered to go to the streets.
I understand that there is power, there is necessity to vote. But if I know that voting has no impact on what I want to change, then it is an altruistic act. It's just doing it again just to do it. I think not voting and not participating sends more of a message to leaders that we're not happy. We're not happy with what's going on.
Right? So, rule by who? So, rule by who? The people, right? What are you going to do when it's time for you to pay your mortgage? People are losing their jobs by the hundreds to thousands every single day. Nobody is sharing that with us. They're losing their housing. At the beginning of the month, they're scared as freaking hell is hot, right? Because they're like, where am I going to find the resource to be able to do that? I have a friend of mine who lived in a $750,000 house, had to file for bankruptcy because he's getting older. He's not able to pay that bill. It's happening all over the country. And if you think they're not going to knock on your door because of your ethnicity, don't think that we are divided. We're really not divided. Just have a system that has divided us based upon our own prejudices. So think outside the box, right? Think outside the box and say to yourself, what would I do if I lose my job? And there's some of us who own these contracts. I mean, it used to be you can retire. Now they give you 3-year contracts, 2 to 3 year contracts. Well, what if I don't find a job after 3 years? What am I supposed to do? And one of the largest layoffs is technology. Well, if you're using my brain to input technology, then now technology is taking over and you no longer need what's in my brain anymore. Because they've already gotten everything out. So there's a lot of techs who have lost their jobs, and most techs, receive a healthy compensation, right? So you got your condos, you got your lofts, you got some have homes in different locations. Well, when that resource goes dry, unemployment is not going to do what? It's not going to pay it. So what do? We're just spending money without making money. Eventually, you're going to run out of money. So it's not just this generation. It's not just the next generation. It's not just the generation after that. This is a new world that we're entering. And if we don't come together despite our disagreements, let me ask you this. Have you ever heard someone come to you and say, we have a solution, and you can still be divided? You still have your own belief system. And we can help heal communities together. And they're providing you a service that you're already using. And saying, instead of us receiving these resources from the service that you're using, only thing we're going to do is do what? We're going to pour back into the communities. And we're going to show you a step-by-step plan of action of community and business accountability. I look at the superpowers as these platforms. They're making billions of dollars every single month. How much is going back to the community? Billions. If these superpowers, and can't nobody tell you what to do with your profits. Whatever you make, if I provide you with the service, I can do whatever I want to with the profit, right? That's my right. So I can't get upset with the superpowers for making themselves richer, right? It wouldn't make sense. Can't hold everybody responsible and say, well, if you're making money, you got to pour back in the community. Unless you're building platforms that are community-based, partnering with community, and owned by community. And now you use those resources to do what? Empower your community, empower the businesses so that they can stay open, so that we continue to patronize these businesses, right? You can do that. We can continue to patronize these businesses to keep them open. AI is going to knock at your door. If we don't, I know it's our production, if we don't listen now, it's going to be too late. Do I have 2 million people? Give me 550,000 businesses who are listening to this and say, you know what? I'm going to listen to this from the beginning to the end, because we got to stop the violence. We got to stop this mental illness. We have to treat this mental illness, right? Treat it. Can't stop it. Treat the mental illness. And let me share this about mental illness before I go forward. It's hereditary. It's genetics. So you have mentally ill children who's having sex with mentally ill children, and they're having mentally ill children. You have mentally ill young adults who's having sex with mentally you have mentally ill children who are having, you have mentally ill young adults who are having sex with mentally ill young adults. You have mentally ill adults who are having sex with mentally ill adults. What's the results? They did an experiment. I want you to Google 3 identical strangers. Watch that. It was an experiment by the government where they had twins or triplets, and they got these triplets from parents who were suffering from schizophrenia, depression, and suicide, and they put them in 3 different families that had a daughter, a mother, and a father. One with middle class, one with low income, and one with who was rich or wealthy, white collar, right? Guess who? 2 of them committed suicide. The other one, who was middle class, he received more attention from the father. He's still alive, right? But he still had thoughts of suicide. But because of the conversations that he was having with his father, he remained alive. They ended up meeting each other. It's a powerful, powerful, powerful documentary. But it's letting you know that mental illness is genetic. So there's a lot of us who are suffering, who are traumatized, right? And there's a lot of us who are embarrassed to say that we are suffering from PTSD. We're suffering from being on the spectrum. We're suffering from mental illness. We're suffering from schizophrenia because of what people may think about us. But inside these homes, our children are seeing this. And they're experiencing the same behavior when they go to the school. And now the teachers are having a hard time because they want the school to become educators versus parents. Right? That makes sense. So if you have the patience and you can just take off that hat of envy, strife, conflict, just for a moment. Forget about who you're talking to, or the color of my skin, or he being a male, or who he think he is. I'm certified life coach, certified director, and again, the LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Denzel Washington of problem solving. Can't nobody beat me. This is what I do. This is my gift, right? And if I received a dream from the Creator, I'm sharing that dream with you, how we can all be helped. The question is, if it's not you, share it with someone who it can be. We just need 2 million. 2 million. And I'm going to break it down for you so it'll be able to make sense to you. 2 million. Are you a part of that 2 million? So are you ready to go with this? Are you ready for this? Now, let me share this also. If you're expecting the solution in 30 minutes, you need to go somewhere. We've been in trouble for generations. I'm going to break it down to you to where even a third grader will be able to understand this. So you may not have the patience due to the trauma that you face. I can't knock that. Right? You got a lot of people that just don't have, they have a very short attention span. So if somebody led them to the water to make them drink, they still wouldn't drink because it took them too long to take it to the water. And by the time they got there, no, that's not water. So we're not talking with you. There's individuals who have become, we call them zombinism. They're already too far to the left. They can't be helped, unfortunately. Raise a child in the way of good. When he grow old, he should never depart, right? That means even if he have hiccups, he's always going to go back to how he was raised. Raise a child in negativity, hate, strife, conflict, lack of trust, division, anger, no love. When he grow older, he will never depart. That's all he knows. So when we see individuals who are affected the way that they're affected, guess why they're affected? Because they was raised that way. You say, well, what kind of parents would raise someone like that? Well, mental illness, if you never received it, if your parents were had 3 jobs, you didn't have the attention, or you couldn't provide the attention to your child, or if you had a child and you were young and you know nothing about raising a child, or if he was abused. Like there's abuse every single day that's happening in someone's homes right now to our youth. There was we went to a school and we did a survey in the school asking just questions, right? We didn't have it to where the youth could put their name on it because we didn't want other class members to know who they were, right? So, and when some of those questions was just like, some really deep questions, and some of the answers was even more powerful than you can even imagine. Sad. We asked questions like, what are some of the negative things that happened to you in your life? And we seen abuse, sexual abuse by members in their own family. People that did not have food to be able to eat. They didn't have food in their homes. There was this one guy, I could tell it was a guy because the way he was responding. He said I would have to go outside 3-4 o'clock in the morning at least 4 times a week because my mom will be in the house with this guy and I'll be on the front porch 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I have to go to school while my mom is as if I don't understand what's going on, but I can't share that with anyone, otherwise I'll lose my house. Sad. There was some who said that their mom was being beat up by their dad, and there's constant fighting. If a child continues to hear that, guess what that does to their system? My mom screams. My mom yells. Mental illness. And if we're seeing red and blue continuously being divided, but we're telling our youth to disregard what they see, and we want you to go inside of the school and work things out with other students, but we're not seeing the adults doing it. So we're going to provide you with a step-by-step plan of action with transparency. Something you've never seen before. For generations, I've never seen anyone that I voted into office, or anyone that we voted to office, has provided us with a step-by-step plan of action on how you're going to do what you say you're going to do before you win the election. So, well, how can you problem solve and help this country in the state that it's in right now? How can anybody do that? It's not me who's doing that. It's us. There's a spirit who gives individual dreams. And when he gives you these dreams, he gives you a step-by-step plan of action. I'm just being obedient to the spirit. And I'm sharing with you to just take your hat out, put it to the side, that negative hat, right? And sometimes the negativity came from great reasons. We've been hurt, we've been wounded by so many people to where we no longer trust anybody. Well, when you hear this step-by-step plan of action, it will be almost impossible. Let's say nothing is impossible. Unless you're, of course, on the zombieism side. But we're going to give you a step-by-step plan of action that can remove everyone from this poverty situation, so that when these AI comes in and take over, you're still left with a home. You're still left with transportation. You're still left with your belief system. And maybe then, maybe your belief system will change, because now you're educated to realize that that belief system came from somewhere. Division, race, racism, prejudices, biases, it came from life experiences. And sometimes we hold on to it for so long to where we don't care anymore, because life has become so competitive to where that's just what it is, right? So, we're not asking for resources. Well, somewhat. We're asking for accountability for community and businesses, because businesses need to stay in business in order for communities to thrive. But there's a middle class that's been removed. I mean, it's totally been wiped out. Just research it. All over the country, businesses are closing each and every day. They're looking. They don't have the resources now to even brand.
Hundreds of malls have closed over the last several years because people's shopping habits have changed. There was a time in the US when there was a spending frenzy of consumerism and everyone was shopping, and shopping malls were where everybody spent their time and went on the weekends. You know, we would go to the Antine's
Jeanette Digian would travel from the Bronx to Morningside Heights to buy the unique children's books and toys at Bank Street Bookstore. And she, among so many other customers, is in mourning over the closing of this beloved shop in the neighborhood for 50 years.
It's closing. The company says the COVID-19 pandemic made it impossible to continue. The chain was founded 36 years ago and had 31 stores in 9 different states. Price Electronics Inc. says its operations are officially ceased, and
some Sam's Club stores nationwide going out of business. New tonight, we're going right to the company to find out how long until a South Tampa location will be the next to close for good.
Now descending on the retailer Bed Bath & Beyond. What's happening at BBBY?
So the retailer has been struggling, like you mentioned, Vicky, for a while now, trying to get its operations streamlined, optimized, get to a level of more sustained profitability, a level where it has enough cash from operations at any given time to continue as a business. But the shares are getting hammered today, due in large part to a restructuring plan where Bed Bath & Beyond has announced it's going to take on more debt to meet its cash needs.
While records are being broken on Wall Street, a nightmare is developing on Main Street. Tens of thousands of small businesses are shutting their doors, many permanently, and the economic effects could be felt for months in the broader economy and for years to come.
Businesses on the West Coast are struggling to stay open now as workers report crime on the rise. A Starbucks spokesperson announced yesterday the coffee chain is permanently closing 14 stores, 6 in Seattle, 6 around LA, 2 more in Portland, Oregon. The Wall Street Journal reports the moves come after employees complained about safety concerns closed last night in Southern California after a series of shootings and violent robberies at the stores. Police say the incidents left 2 people dead and 3 others wounded. Here's CNBC's Valerie Castro.
Back. Amazon is walking back an innovative product of theirs. They're going to close several Amazon Go stores across the country, 2 in New York, 2 in San Francisco, and 2 in Seattle. This is the model of store that Amazon rolled out years ago, where you can just scan your code when you walk in and walk out with your products without the traditional checkout process.
Going to close 4 stores in Chicago this weekend. By the way, that is half the total in Chicago. Lydia, who is here? What Mayor-elect Brandon Johnson saying about these closures?
The company that owns Sears and Kmart says it is closing 96 stores, including some in Massachusetts and New Hampshire. 51 Sears stores will close for good, including the stores in Leominster and Auburn and New Hampshire stores in Nashua and Concord.
Closings along Broadway in Manhattan is alarming city officials and residents. New report shows a big jump in the number of stores empty and boarded up. CBS News' Jenna DeAngelis is live on the Upper West Side with more. Jenna.
Mary, this is the sad reality if you walk up and down Broadway. We're between 99th and 100th, and I want to show you back-to-back empty storefronts. These are among the more than 300 that were recently counted on the entire stretch. Down, posted letters announcing permanent closure. This is the landscape Manhattan residents take in as they walk up and down Broadway.
It's depressing.
A new survey by the Manhattan Borough President of vacancies along the 244 blocks of Broadway found 335 street-level vacant storefronts.
Here's what we need to know. A new report from the State Taxpayers Association reveals several more companies like Amy's Frozen Foods are planning to close factories or even leave California.
By the time we finish this presentation, we will have that 2 million. We already got the students. They're on board. They can hear it. They can see it. They understand technology a lot better than what we do. We just have to act and say, do we really have a choice? Because if you think that you're going to hold on to your job and AI is here to stay, it's not going anywhere, then you really have been bamboozled. They don't care what color you are. They don't care what sex you are. They don't care how old you are. They don't care how young you are. We need community and business accountability. And the only thing we're doing, let me share with you what we're doing in a short term before I even go forward. There's superpowers, right, which are these platforms. We're providing the same services as many of these top platforms, only we're giving it back to you in tenfold. That's it. And I'm going to show you how. Okay, let me pull up this PDF. What you're looking at right now is VibeTalkTV.com. It's our version of Zoom, right? Again, when you own your own platforms, you can't have superpowers or expect superpowers to do something that's not in their heart, right? People are in business to make money. People are in business to create legacies for their families and their families' families. We just believe that if you create platforms that are owned by community and you pour back into the community, what greater legacy can you have for your family? So this is just one of the many platforms that belongs to community and is partnered with communities. I want you to keep this number in mind. We need 2 million people. Keep this number in mind because it's going to make sense later, right? 540K, right? And 1.4 million. Keep that number in mind. Let me pull this up. Okay, virtual branding solutions, right? Keep that number. 2 million. 2 million. Just keep that number. Just keep that number in mind. Again, if you have a short attention span, this is not going to be for you. This is for the 2 million people who believe that the Creator provides dreams. And not only dreams, but He gives them specific instructions as to how this will work. This is going to be so simple to where it's going to be complex to those who are Western educated. Some, I'm not going to say all, Western educated, because it's so simple. That's why I say uses the simple things to confound the wise. I'm not a religious person, I'm a spiritual person. I operate in spirit, right? So I'm going to break this down to where a third grader will understand this. I'm not here to motivate you. I'm not a motivational speaker, right? I'm not here to make you excited. I'm not a preacher, right? I'm not here for you to like me because I see the chaos that's in our world today, and all of us need a tongue lashing because we're all partly responsible. We're all partly responsible. So my job here is only to provide you with a solution. If you have negative thoughts when you're looking at me right now, that's something you got to work out. Something you got to look deep down inside yourself like, oh my God, where did this come from? Why am I thinking this? Why am I feeling this way? Somebody's coming here offering a solution. We're asking for solutions. The politicians are not getting it. We've gotten so used to talking about the problem and fussing and throwing stones at the politicians and the politicians. We already see they don't have no answers. They can't even agree with each other. And then we get upset with them. Then we're asking for money and we're competing for money. Fill out this information. You get your grant. And a lot of us have turned into zombies. Like there's no return. If you become a complete zombie, there's zombieism. There's no return. You're gone. And for those individuals, we're not going to be able to help. We only want to provide solutions to those individuals who are looking for additional options and those people who are not so caught up in their feelings of anger. Because there's people who are angry. There's people that are racist. There's people that are prejudiced and biased, but they still will listen to a solution. Why? Because they see that who's important now is their next generation and the now generation, which are their children and their children's children. So say, yeah, I'll listen. And if it works, I'll do it, but I'm not doing it to help. But that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Now, isn't that crazy though? Think about it for a second. The Creator will come up with a solution, and He will give that solution to someone in a dream and say, give you step by step. That's how the Bible was written, right? Gave them dreams and they start writing. And He will give the person a dream, step by step, step by step, step by step, despite how you feel about your brother. And He say, I will even use that to my advantage. Even because if you care about your community, then you're going to do it for your community. So I will even use that to my advantage. That's what the Creator, that's how He works, that's how He operates, right? So, despite feelings of envy, strife, who we think He is, and He's not, forget about that. That's not, we're in a situation now to where we're looking at the world, the chaos, the drama, the trauma, the violence, the theft, the youth, the uncontrollable I mean, you figure it out. Just it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy out there, and we're pointing fingers at our youth, the generation, the younger generation. When the younger generation gets it, and they're trying to share with us, the elders, that they get it, but they're saying that we don't understand. So they're begging for this. But it's like, Mr. Cherry, how do you feed that to that older generation who are full of pride, ego, ego, edging God out, ECO, edging the Creator out, whoever your higher power is, right? Again, we're not here based upon beliefs. We're here to provide a solution despite your belief, despite your prejudice. I'm going to keep saying that. 2 million. Keep a hold to that number. So their response, and these are the youth, because they already get it. Their response to our elders are, they're saying, they're blaming us, right? They're blaming us for following them, right? And then when we get too close and we see that there's an edge that our elders are going over, and we spend all of this time following them, only thing we've done is we've turned around and said, no, I'm not going that way. And our elders are like, come, follow us. And they're like, no, you're about to go over a cliff. No, we're not about to go over a cliff. Yes, you are. So if they see what we're doing every single day, they see us fighting, they see us on social media, adults, right? Just arguing, screaming, divided, angry. And we say, when you go to school, you need to behave. Like, excuse me? Look at our young generation. Excuse me? Oh my God. We're all to blame. The next time you get on social media, remember there's a young person that's watching. And they're like, man, that's everybody. Like, everybody's doing this. That's trauma. That's traumatizing to a lot of you. And the only thing they're doing, they're going back with no directions. And when you go back with no direction and you don't have your parent to follow, guess what you're going to do? You're going to do whatever you can to survive. It's chaotic out there. Because they said, I'm not going over the cliff. Like, what you're doing is not working for you. So why do you want me to follow the same way that you went? It didn't work. Like, and they're thinking, why don't they get that? And the adults are like, you need to go to school, you need to do this. But that didn't work for you. And because we don't have a solution, right? And because we don't have that solution, guess what's happening? Our youth are out of control. They're looking for guidance. They're looking for this right here. But will the adults listen? That's what they're asking. Cherry, Mr. Cherry, will the adults listen? Let's see. Just need 2 million. 550K businesses and 1.4 million community members. It's billions of people, right? We just need 2 million to make a difference. Committed for 1 year. Because when you see it, you're going to be like, oh my God. This is just phase 1 of many phases. I know some of you are like, just go on with it. Come on, man. Shit, just do it, man. Just tell us. Okay. Welcome to Virtual Branding Solution. Right. Now, let's go to page 2. Remember those superpower platforms that I was telling you about? Look at it. Our current technology superpowers. You got Google, Spotify, Twitter, Zoom, YouTube, TikTok, Amazon, Facebook, Apple. Hey, you see VBS down there? Virtual Branding Solution. It's kind of like off to itself, right? Well, we need a community superpower platform that can offer the same services, right? And not only offer the same services, but with that membership, they give it back to the community tenfold. That's the solution. That's the answer. I know some of you are like, duh. But how are we going to do that? Right? One second. Let's go to page 2. Okay, let's look at page 2. You say, how are we going to do that, right? Let's look at page 2. Okay, you may say, why do we have hundreds to thousands of different car lots, different other entities, but only one Facebook, only one Zoom, right? Only one Apple, only one Spotify, only one Facebook, only one YouTube, only one Amazon, only one TikTok. That's controlling the narrative, mental. It's a program. When you talk to a tech, we understand a little bit more. It's a program. If I'm providing you a program to be on every single day, I'm programming you based upon how I code it. Some of you may have heard of ChatGPT. It's a program. So we would have to deprogram what's been programmed, create another program in the process, replace what's been deprogrammed with the new program to control the narrative. So that goes back to the solution is we have to provide our own platforms that are owned by community and use those resources to empower our communities. So when someone knocks at your door and say, I'm sorry, you lost your job is no longer there. You know, they say, yes, Susan, can you please come into the office? Knock on your door, yes, Susan, can you please come into the office? And you're like, oh my God, I'm about to get a raise. And you go in there and you realize you just lost your job. Now, how do you live? Because unemployment is not working like it's supposed to. So how do you live? It's not enough, right? So how do you live? Let me share with you how you live. You see the virtual branding solution, which is a platform that is owned by community, right? That's partnering with their community. We're no different than those platforms. The only thing we're doing is, again, we're pouring it back into the community with a plan of action that makes sense in every city. If they're making billions, why can't we make billions and share with you what we can do with those resources, what we can do with those billions on something that's owned by community? I just want us to wake up for a second. Wake up for a second. Again, I'm talking to those individuals who can think just logically. I poured my life into these platforms that are controlling my thinking, controlling my narrative, creating mental illness, creating depression, creating all of these negative things, and I can't remove myself from it because I'm addicted to it, but I'm too prideful to imagine I can be addicted to these platforms that I gotta be on. And if someone shared with me, hey, guess what? It's my refrigerator. If someone shared with me, hey, guess what? If I provided you with the opportunity to go to a platform that's owned by and partnered with community. So if you lose your job, you have your place to stay. And you may not have to worry about rent. Logically, how can you do that? Anytime that you own your own technology, these platforms that are making billions, it's easy to do it because the numbers easily add up. That's how. That's simple. That's how. It's that simple. They're making billions. Let's go forward. Okay. If we had one version of each of these type of superpower platforms that partner with all communities, how could this prepare us for the 800 million of jobs that will be lost by the year 2030 to artificial intelligence? I'm going to share with you how. So the only thing we're asking to do is do what? The same thing you've done to them. Just register. Is it that easy? Yes. You have advertisers that are paying anywhere from $20,000 to $500K for those who have memberships of 20,000 or more. So you have a YouTube who have millions. Guess how much money they're making in advertising? Billions. Just register. Everyone, just register. Is that logical? Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Who do you know will give profits of a business back to their community? I have sons, right? Father and 3 sons tech team. They need to know that they're going to be okay when I'm no longer here. You never know. You never know. There's a system out there where people say they'll get rid of you, XYZ. Well, as long as my purpose is fulfilled and the solution is here, then that means my purpose has been fulfilled, right? I just want individuals to be able to have logic. Those who are stuck on zombieism, those who continue to want to do crime, those who continue to not care anymore, then put them away in a place to where they'll be okay. I know I've been there for a short stint of time. Right? I was incarcerated for a short stint of time, but I was able to realize there were certain people that needed to be there. So I don't trip when people go, oh no, let's do what we can to help them. No, some people can't be helped. Some people, you have people that have been incarcerated for 35 years and they was locked up when they was teenagers. They're totally different now. With that extra 23 years that they've been in there. Why? Or 18 years that they've been there. Why? Because now their minds are different. Some people, I'm sorry, need to be there. Otherwise, our lives are continually going to be traumatized by these animals who have turned into zombieism. This is for individuals who are looking for options, not the animals. Animals are in all ethnicities. Animals who are here to kill, steal, and destroy. And I'm not talking about those who are just gun violence. I'm talking about individuals who run multi-billion-dollar companies who are impeding upon the lives of communities who just don't care. There's people of all ethnicities, people of all professions that have just stopped caring. But when you have a solution, where everyone has to be accountable, there's never been a system out there that's like that, right? Well, we're providing you with one, right? And just keep in mind, there's hundreds of thousands of people that are already losing their jobs daily to artificial intelligence. Like I shared with you earlier, Friend of mine, 750K home. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Cherry, hurry up and throw that out there, bro, because we need this. He saw it, he was like, we need this ASAP. I'll share it. I am the LeBron James, the Denzel Washington of problem solving. That's just where I am. What we created, that's something that God or the creator or whoever it is that you believe in, spirit, has gifted me just to share how we have these platforms. So yeah, we have our own Spotify. We have our own Facebook version of Facebook, our own version of TikTok, our own version of YouTube, our own version of Amazon, and the list goes on. It's registered. But we're controlling the narrative. Online contests for things that make it fun and entertaining for youth. That's what they're looking for. They're looking to be governed. Educational classes. You know what? Let me pull up this class. I want you to see this. Let me pull this up before I even go forward. Just pull up these classes. This is what our youth are looking for. This is what parents are looking for. Well, let me get out of this first, and let me go back into. Let me pull this up. I'm sharing with you what they're looking for, and then I'll go back to the presentation. That's how serious this is. These are the courses that we need. Do the basic classes, math, science. That's cool, but that's not what we need right now. We need things that's going to life and behavior classes, right? We need family parenting. Look at this. Family parenting, adult relationships, right? Educators who teach counseling. Educators, effective parenting, family affairs, father and son, bullying, life coaching, interracial marriages, marriage counseling, dating counseling, parent and child, teen parenting, co-parenting, blended families, personal growth, stress and conflict, anger control, growing up biracial, growing up bipolar, boundary and limit setting, reward and discipline, incarceration restoration, real talk, adult relationship, right? Health and fitness series, AIDS, HIV, cancer prevention, nutrition, elderly care, health insurance. We need to be teaching that in school. When it comes to our youth, Big Brother Combo, girls etiquette courses, girls and boys, such as sex education, social bullying, child obesity. Again, sex education. You have mental ill children who are having babies, but mentally ill children. Interpersonal communication, talk to me series, youth contests, gaming challenges, colorism, sensitivity training, identifying you, drugs awareness, suicide prevention, hygiene, health and fitness, bioscan. If you never took a bioscan, you got to really take a bioscan. It will tell you everything that's going on inside your body. It will tell you every emotion that you're feeling, from 0 to 100. It will tell you. You put your hand on a palm deal, and in less than 5 minutes, it'll tell you everything that's going on. It'll tell you what your infections, if you're infected with anything. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Bipolar, ADHD. This is the education that we need. It prepares them for what it is that they're dealing with, what they're going through. Because you can give me resources, but if I don't know what's going on the inside of me, I'm going to continue to feel. Right? This is what our youth are looking for. This is the part of the education. And it's not just, what is it, entrepreneurship, right? On-the-spot job opportunity, youth employment, business startup, e-commerce, early credit establishment, improve your credit, website development, small business services, business-to-business networking, mortgage broker, budgeting, retirement, financial services. And guess who can't afford them? Those who need it. Guess what you are doing when you're registering at platforms that are owned by community? You're allowing everyone to get this education. And the resources will take care of the educators. We're going to go over that. I'm going to try to speed through that and just probably leave a link for you to just kind of like look at it and see for yourself. This is what we need. This is what they're begging for. Okay, let me pull that back up. Let me pull. And this is real, man. This is, we don't have time to play anymore. Time is running out. Look at this again. These are our current technology superpowers are making billions of dollars off of us. Hey, it's nothing wrong with it. They created that, right? Is there anything wrong with that? You creating a business that do that, right? And you doing whatever you want to do with your profit. Only thing we're sharing is what business that you know are going to create the same like platforms and say, but let's pour back into the community. I think but everybody's not born the same way. We have been trained to become so competitive to where people no longer care about people anymore. If they see you drop to the side, they don't know that they're next in the next 3 years. People never knew 5 years ago when they was feeling a certain kind of way about certain people that now my job is in jeopardy. And there's people 5 years ago that felt that way and now they've already lost their job. Do you see what I'm saying? It's coming for you. It's about to flood. This is a Noah's Ark production. It is about to flood. I'm building an ark. We're building an ark, one community at a time, so that you can come in and be a part of this new world. Does that make sense? Is it logical? Are you feeling a certain kind of way about me now again? And if you are, that's still fine, right? Because we're still going to need community support to be able to do that, right? To take care of your family. You'll do it if it means to take care of your family, and that's okay. That's what I meant by it's funny how the Creator will give you a dream to where even those who still feel a certain kind of way, if that means that they're taking care of their family and their next generation, they'll still participate. It's like, despite how they feel. You can have a racist do this and still help other communities, but they're really helping themselves at the same time too, or while helping themselves at the same time. It's crazy. It's crazy. Just build a platform and give the resources back to the people. Uses the simple things to confound the wise. The very simple things. Dad. I am a proud dad of 3 sons. All 3 of my sons are young kings. How hard it is to have 3 sons and they're all smart, intelligent. They love what they do. They love their dad. And they have beautiful spirit. They have a beautiful spirit. I say they got it from their mother, right? So I tell them all the time, you got that from your mom. It's your mom genes, right? And their mom would say, no, you got it from your dad. Right, so, and we're no longer together, but we have a really nice relationship. So I want you to look at us as, sidebar, I want you to look at us as Google, right? We are Google, we're Facebook, YouTube, Amazon, TikTok. We're the CEOs, right? We make billions monthly as a community, right? With those billions, we're giving away 60 million monthly to empower each city. Pow, 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 pow. Each major city. Pow, pow. And we're going to show you how, and we're going to show you what those funds will do within those cities. One city. That's all I need to show you is one. You can already imagine the other cities that really, really need it, especially those cities that are doing Baltimore, Atlanta, parts of Florida, Houston, Dallas, St. Louis, some other cities, Washington, D.C., some other cities out there, right? So, we're making them rich by using their platforms. There's no accountability, right? Well, Would you have a problem with us if we were just being accountable? If we had the same thing, if we had the same platforms, right? If we had the same platforms, right? And we were accountable, would that be too right? Would that be too right? Think about it. If we had the same platform and we just did something out of the ordinary, what they call it, Robin Hood, but we're not getting from the rich. We're getting from community, and we're making sure that community is okay. Where we're able to treat all of those symptoms that our community has been dealt with educators. Just in Chicago, we're looking for 500 educators, right? $6K a month, get paid weekly, and not only that, but oh my gosh, it's crazy. I'll get back to that. That's crazy. Because I'm tripping out on myself because, again, I'm not a speaker. I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm not here to excite anyone. I'm just here to just open up our eyes to just what makes sense. And some of us have been so wounded and damaged mentally to where we question everything. There was a young lady who was using this platform, as a matter of fact, and she called me. Well, nobody can hear me. Your platform is great and everything, but nobody can hear me. And I said, okay, well, let me check out and see where everything is you're doing. So I logged in and I saw that. I said, well, your volume. You got your volume muted. And she was like, oh. A lot of times we complain, and I want you to look at that. You got let's say Zoom, right? I don't even like to call out people's names, but let's just say you got a virtual platform out there that are making billions of dollars. We're not making billions of dollars, but we're still giving you something that you can use, right? But you treat us like we're making billions of dollars and there should be no errors whatsoever, even though the error could be human error. And we're sharing with you, yeah, when we get to that point, we're going to provide you all these features that you can use. Don't compare us with the Zoom that's making billions when the whole objective of this is not really the platforms. Yeah, you can use them, you can enjoy them, but it's really about community. So don't come fussing at us about, when we make millions and billions, we'll go in and we'll fix the little things that you probably want additional, but I guarantee you what you're looking for, you can do here. And you can do certain things that you can't do. Like on this one, when you're doing your own, you can stream to over 100,000 people at one time. You can have those people to log in and donate to you. Other platforms are not doing that. Why do you think we're doing that? Because we know what the people are asking for. But the whole objective is we want to pour millions into our communities and just have you to just enjoy what you have while we're feeding communities. And I'm not saying feeding people food. I'm talking about feeding them education and opportunities that they can now become their own selves. So if AI comes over and take over, everybody is okay. And we're going to show you how everybody's going to be okay. In every city, in every state. Logical thinking. Okay, let's go to page. I can get carried away sometimes. Okay, this is the first thing that we're doing, right? We've created unlimited. The Your membership was created to create unlimited entrepreneurship while supporting small businesses and empowering communities. In order for our communities to be empowered, we have to support our small businesses. They're closing, just like people losing their job. Just imagine you lose your, see how much time it is. You lose your business. Now you can't pay your mortgage. Now you lost your mortgage because you lost your business because you didn't have community support. All these small businesses need community support. So we said, let's start with phase one. How do we support small businesses so that they can stay in business to provide us with what it is that we're looking for? And how is it that they can support community in return and say, thank you? That's all we were looking for. And if there's a problem with your business, you have someone who's able to reach out to you and say, you know what, this is why people may not be going to your business. Or, hey, you know what, you may need to change this. Or, hey, you know what, I mean, giving you like real, true community advice. You're hearing from the public as to why people may not be patronizing your business. Isn't that what you're looking for? And we want to be educated, not in our feelings. I don't know who you think he's talking to. He's trying to. We're not looking for that. We're looking for people who are open to receive so that they can patronize your business. Why? Because of your support and community, we want to support you back. That makes sense? Hopefully it does. So for so long, we have been supporting businesses. I'm reading off of here. Without surety knowing who has been supporting our community in return. Right? This membership is about accountability for all businesses, right? Accountability for community and businesses. So this allows participating businesses to be supported and prosper while creating residual employment to the people that make up our community. That's Asians, Nubians, Hispanic, Indian. Y'all need our dollars. If you're not wanting to participate, remember, accountability goes both ways. And we have to hold all businesses accountable. I'm not speaking negative about what is it, the Indonesian group, the Indies. But you have to support those communities where you got your business, because what we're asking individuals now is accountability goes both ways. If you're not pouring anything back and you want us to continue to patronize, your Asian shop or whatever, then you have to give back to that community. It just makes all the sense in the world. And if you're not willing to do that, then you're going to be forced to do that, because the community is going to stop supporting your business. We don't know what you're giving back. But this right here is a comprehensive plan of action to where everyone now is held accountable, because our businesses, think about this. I remember seeing a documentary in Detroit when all the businesses was destroyed and burned up or whatever, the whole community went down. We need businesses in our community. We need to support those businesses, right? No matter what business you have. So we created a virtual video business card search engine, social media, networking platform app for businesses of all types. This is for the city of Chicago, right? So they can befriend, chat in real time, network, and share images, work, video reels, testimonials, interviews, shows, virtual cards, podcasts, electric press kits. If you've never seen electric press kits, it's powerful. You're going to see it. Virtual branding solution, increase and create an unlimited technology district for the urban area. Allow our center of business, industry, and culture to thrive all on one virtual commercial strip, empowering businesses as well as education within their communities. So imagine it's one strip of nothing but businesses. It's virtual. For the city of Chicago, all businesses. You can search for that particular business. When you search and you click on it, their virtual card pops up. On that virtual card, you may see testimonials, you may see businesses, you may see commercials, you may see infomercials, you may see advertisements. Whatever it is that they want to put on their card, they're able to do that. The beautiful thing about that, because there's other card systems out there, but there's not a card system out there that has a search engine and a platform that connects community with the business. Similar to like LinkedIn, where you send a friend request, befriend, you chat in real time. So now I'm able to chat in real time with who? Businesses. I'm able to befriend them. I'm able to share their cards on all my social media platforms. Remember I said we have to support the small businesses in order for the community to thrive? Now what happens is that creates more small businesses. If I know that if I create a small businesses and I'm a part of a product that's going to assist my business in its startup, I'm going to start my business up quick. And now I'm empowering the entire community. Is that logically thinking? So we created a place starting with a virtual interactive business directory. Now we have packages for this, right? For the members, for community members, it's free. Right, we're not charging them. For businesses, it's $109 and up. Some businesses that probably pay for what they're about to receive here, they probably pay anywhere from $500 to $1,000, and so every time they're advertising. We only ask for $109 and up. Depends upon how much and what your budget is. We're asking what you can afford. $109, you're getting all of these things each and every month. If you're in business, you can't afford $109. Well, let me say this. We do have packages that's $19.99 until you are able to afford the $109. But what we're looking for with the $19.99 packages, remember the number I said, 440K, right? And 1.45. There's a reason why I came up with that number, 440K. Let me share with you why. Chicago has 500. I said 400. Chicago has 540K businesses in the Chicago area, right? We need each business who wants to see their business and city succeed with the less violence, with the online education, with the in-person education, with the dormitories, with the apartments, with all these things. We haven't went there yet. If you want to see your city succeed, you're paying $109 a month. All 540K. That's what we got. We need 540K businesses and 1.4 million members of our communities all over the country, right? But this means in return, not only you're receiving a great product, but you're now being branded by your community, listed as a community supporter. I've already shared with you how, but you want to see how. There's going to be monthly giveaways to communities, branded 24/7, 365 by community. That's enough, right? Networking platform for community members to connect and chat with businesses. Platform where community brands for you, 24/7, 365. Branded to popular social media platforms. There's location-based SMS branding, right? Now, what other ways can I get other people to see my branding, my power, everything that I'm doing? You know these Groupons, right? A booklet. We have a virtual booklet where you can put your ad in there, right? And we send it to, let's say, Chicago has 4 million people, right? We get 4 million SMS of all the people that are in the Chicago area, which is perfect for those who are running for election, right? You need location, zip code base. You want everybody to see it on their mobile phones because we have access to mobiles. Well, you want your business to be done the same way. We're able to do that. Who in this freaking world what advertising agency in this freaking world can offer you those opportunities? Do you see what I'm saying right now? Does it make sense? Is this making sense, right? Okay, now let's go back to the numbers. You can look at that when you have time. 540K business owners registering for $109 monthly. That's roughly $25 weekly, right? A little over $26, $27, right? Okay, now, community members. Do you want to be the change you want to see? There's currently 1.4, that's where I got that number, 540K, 1.4, so it's approximately 2 million people, right? 1.4 million people are unemployed in Chicago. Now, what if that 1.4 million people registered at the $19.99 a month, just for accountability, to see everything change in their city with this plan of action that we have, right? We want all of you to make a commitment for 1 year at $19.99, 1.4 million. Until we get there, this is an invite for all people across the country. We have probably about 15 different directories, right? We got one for Dallas, doing for Chicago, El Paso. We're doing one for Atlanta and a few others, right? We have businesses dealing with automotive, stylists and barbers, lawyers, entertainment, athletes of all sports types, real estate, religious, Hispanic. These are platforms that you can register, whether you are your own religious organization, whether you're a business, or whether you're just a member of the community. You can register for $109, $19.99. If you don't have $19.99 a month and you're a community member and you say, well, I can do $5.99, do $5.99. Remember, we want everyone to be accountable to make these changes in every freaking city. If they're making billions, if these superpower platforms are making billions, just see what we're able to do with this, just this one area in Chicago, and it'll give you just an idea and a concept what we can do global. Global. I didn't say nationally. Global. We have to be the change that we want to see, and it starts with us. Right? Okay. So if you add that up, 1.4 million at $19.99 all over the country, until we get 1.4 million in Chicago to sign up for $19.99. We're asking 1.4 million people around the country to do this, so we can provide a step-by-step plan of action. We're not doing anything different from any other platform. Only thing we're doing is saying register. Let us show you with transparency how we can help communities. That's it. Since these other platforms are receiving these resources and they're not really pointing back into community, calling out content creators on YouTube. These people are giving and pouring into your pockets, right? Get back. Get back on something that makes sense. We're always complaining on what we should do. We're always complaining and complaining. Someone provides a problem, a solution to the problem, and it's like, who do you think he is? You just ask for a solution. Well, you're trying to get all my people. How am I trying to? Yes, I'm trying to get all your people to help the people in Chicago. I'm just trying to have them to. Okay, first of all, whatever platform you own already have all those people. Those people don't belong to you. So what's wrong with them going to a platform where we can get these resources and pour them back into community? Well, what if you don't do it? Well, if you don't do it, then stop supporting. Duh. Remember, this is for the logical thinkers. This is those who are not about greed, but those who don't have selfish motives. If we are not doing what we say that we're going to do, then don't support. Doesn't that just make sense? Versus, and just go back to the platform just not doing anything for you anyway. So I think that's envy. That's what I meant by envy. Remove the envy and start thinking about the people that are taking care of you. That's the only thing we're saying, right? Stop being envious. And if someone could come up with platforms, and I hear people all the time, man, we need our own. We need our own. We need our own. Everyone needs their own. But what's the point of having your own if that individual is doing the same as the other platforms? If they're not giving back to the community, what's the point of having your own? Just because the person is Nubian? Just because the person may be Hispanic? Does it make sense? If we had our own and we were a superpower and we don't give back to community, what's the point of having your own? Just so people can have freedom of speech? Is that the only thing you're looking for? Because no one has taught us how to give. No one has given us a plan of action how to pour back into communities, so we don't even think that that's even possible. If you add that up, let's just add the numbers, $86 million. $86 million. 1.4 people at $19 a month and 504K business at 109. Of course, you're going to have business that's going to pay more. Whatever your budget is, whatever you can afford, that's what we want you to pay each and every month for 12 months. Watch us see what we're about to do. Together, every step is going to be transparency. Everything. But y'all asking YouTube what they do. We had a meeting one day and the lady was like, well, what are you doing with the profits? What do you mean the profit? Do you ask YouTube what they do with their profit? I just share with you what we're doing with the profit. What about the other money? What other money? You mean this money that is left over? Do you ask YouTube and Google? Do you see what it is? That's why I said we're so. If somebody create a platform to give back to community, and they don't have to do that, and you're saying we need our own, and they're telling you everything that they're giving back, you're worried about the extra $5. What are you gonna do with the extra $5? Are you serious? Are you at Google asking them what are they doing with their billions that none of... Stop. Don't do that. People. Okay, let me get over. I'm sorry. I just kind of went somewhere. Since crime is affecting our city, our business, and our lives, let's start with our educators, right? You can read this when you have time. I just want to briefly go over it to you, right? Okay, we want to have 580 educators, 200 educators for family, parenting, adult relationship, as well as youth, adolescent series, what I went over you, right? 300 for various others. We want educators to be able to teach this 6 hours a day, right? Remember, I said I'll get back to that. I kind of went a little bit early. That's $3 million monthly to pay 500 educators monthly to teach these programs. So if you deduct that, that's now 83 million that we have left over to spend. This is one city. We can do this in every city. Do the numbers. Just take your time and do the numbers. This is a global Stop the Violence community to business campaign, right? Accountability campaign. Why not? Or we just continue on the status quo saying, can we get you guys, the school board, to give us more funding because we're losing funding and our kids are being affected, and why we're still begging from mom and dad, and we're teaching our youth to go out there and make it happen, but they see us begging for money.
Your Honor, it's the custody case.
Yes, remind me of the details.
A divorced couple are fighting over custody of their daughter, the United States of America.
Send them in.
Okay, we'll do.
Take a seat. Talk to me.
Your Honor, I want my daughter back. She's been at her house for the last 6 years.
Yeah, and before that, 8 years in your house.
Yeah, after 8 with you.
And 12 with you.
Sorry, how old is she?
225. That's very young for a country.
Still old enough to decide for herself, right? Who do you want to be with, kid?
I'm usually pretty annoyed with whoever I'm with at the moment.
Want to choose Dad, honey? Low taxes, low spending.
What about Mommy, dear? High taxes, high spending. Cool. She does that.
Well, you can't just let her cherry pick. Think about her future.
Oh, I hate that word.
Future?
It's okay, baby. The future's not real, okay? Mommy will let you have all the debt that you want.
Yet at Daddy's house, pollution is totally cool.
No. She's playing you off each other to get any bad thing she wants.
Well, what do you mean, any bad thing, okay? What about this healthcare app I have, huh? Oh, it won't load.
Ha! Mission accomplished.
In their mind, they're like, okay, well, the way it's always been run or ran. Think outside the box. We have to collaborate together, all ethnicities, to make this thing happen. It ain't gonna happen with all Nubians. It ain't gonna happen with all Europeans. It's not gonna happen. It's gonna happen with those that are like-minded, right? And there's a lot of us who are like-minded. There's a lot of youth that are more like-minded than the adults. I'm sorry, but our adults are really wounded. We don't trust anything. And if it didn't come from us, who we think that's okay. So dormitories, right? We want dormitories that's going to house 500 students. We need about 8 of them, right? 4 all women, 4 all men. Yeah, they can still go to school together, but they're living in separate dorms. They're outside of their homes. They're not living with their parents, right? We're starting them on this college thing early. You're taking these courses, right? Each and every month. Remember, there's accountability, and each one of these 500 will be getting $1,000 monthly stipend. That way, if you keep them inside of these clubs and organizations, they don't have time to be in the streets. If you're not in the streets, you're not thinking about crime. And those who are in the streets, you'll be able to see them now and get them into a place where they don't infect, other communities. Just keeping it real. Okay. And there's accountability here, right? So if you think about your student and you come in and you want to break the rules and you're not going to have that here. When you control your own entity, you can do whatever you want to because you have your own rules. Bye. Bye, Felicia. Bye, Felicia. Bye, Jacob. You had 2 chances because we have what you call save my future box. If a student sees another student who's affecting their learning capabilities, you put that person's name in a box and share with them what's going on, and we're going to look into it and we're going to research and find out. And if you're telling a story, you're not being honest, then you're going to be in trouble. We need to get away from that snitching stuff. We know now if somebody's affecting your future, then that means you're not going to be getting that $1,000 each and every month. And guess what? You're going to be like, no, bro, you're not about to mess it up for everybody. So you ain't coming in breaking no rules. Got a lot of strict rules in this too. Everyone is held accountable, period. And these dorms cost about $10 to $15 million, right, per dorm. So that's a deduction. The balance now is $72.9 million. I know you parents are like, okay, hold it. We have parents who's going to be working the hallways, making sure that the youth are doing what they need to do. The daytime and the nighttime, you guys are going to be working these halls and getting paid for it. Right? Why not the parents? The youth need to see the parents are involved. And there's going to be a lot of parent participation because in order for them to receive this, the parents has to be involved. And what those who may say, okay, well, that sounds good, but I want to see my baby. We got something for that too. Family and students monthly stipends. We're going to be providing $700 to 50,000 families. 50,000 families. We're just deducting, right? We're deducting from community that's supporting. 50,000 families are about to receive $700. So that means it's $37.9 million left. Remember, this is every single month for a year, right? As one CEO, this is 46% of monthly profit going into one city. What person do you know will create these platforms and give up 46% of their profit back to the people? So the person said, well, what are you going to do with the balance, 37.9? Don't we as an organization, don't we deserve to receive something in return? If we're creating these platforms and we're making billions. Do we have to give up? I mean, are you that selfish? Come on now. Gotta have something, right? But that's not even it. You saw 37, right? Okay, on this page, apartment complex across the street from the dorm for parents. This will cost about 20 to 25 million to do this. Hold it, I thought your profit was 37. Chill out. We're still spending. Right? We're still spending because this is important. Sometimes you have to make sacrifices, right? We're still spending. So that's 18.9 million for the first 8 months because we're building 8 dormitories for all girls, right? And all boys, 4 and 4. But we're also building apartment complexes next to those dorms. So for those parents who are like, I want to see my baby, guess what? You're right next door. Your baby can even come home sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like right across the street. Well, how much are these apartments? I mean, I can't afford it. It's $700 a month. How much are you getting each and every one from the organization? 700. Yeah, so it'll be going towards your apartment. We just pay taxes on the land, right? We can do that. You got enough money to do that. So you're able to house a lot of families in these apartments, students in these dormitories, educators. Because we want the educators to not have to worry about rent unless they want to, which means you can go somewhere that you want to go. You're making $6,000 a month, or we could provide you with something where you're not paying as much. And it may be a place nothing but teachers. We can do that with the resources by partnering with our community. Again, you can't break the rules. We got rules now. You must attend the program. Family, parents, you got to attend these programs. If you miss out on the program, bye-bye. There's no excuses. You get one warning, the next one, you lose your stifle, and then you have to relocate. So you have to know, before I even get myself into this situation, am I prepared to do what? Am I prepared to go all the way for my child, for my child's future? And a person said, well, what happens after the year? Well, guess what's going to happen? You're going to have more and more people that's going to be able to do what? Support, because they see it. And there's not going to be a business or a sports team or an athlete or an actor who's not going to be assisting. So that means it doesn't really stop. It only stops if you stop it. But why wouldn't it work if we're doing it for those youth and families who are truly looking for a second option? So we will provide a City of Chicago's customized directory that caters to business of all types, community-based for businesses, corporations, and community members. This allows each entity to register at a small membership price, where they can now network, befriend, chat, support the organization. We already went over that, right? $5.99, $19.99 a month. Every community member registered $19.99. If you're listening to this, I'm going to leave directories, platforms at the end of this. If you're listening to this, register. I don't care what city you're in. I don't care what state you're in. I don't care what country you're in. Register. Register. If you're a community member and you're employed and you say, I want to see this happen, register at $19.99 a month. You're going to get something in return. You get the VibeTalk TV platform, what we're on right now, where you're able to befriend people, you're able to do presentations, teaching, podcasting for $19.99 a month. We're providing a service. The only thing we're doing different is we're just pouring it back into the community because we have to. And there's going to come a time when you're going to be like, oh my God, I'm glad I invested my $20 a month. 20? If you have more, yes, we don't mind you giving more, right? So person, well, can I give this amount for this time and then upgrade? Yeah, you can upgrade too. Whatever you want to do, you can do. We just need you to allow us to provide you with a service. We're not asking for no donations. We're asking to provide you with a service with the same platforms that you're using, just a different car lot, just a different entity. And let us do what we want to do with these resources, showing you every step of the way. That's it. That's it in a nutshell. I'm going to leave this for you to be able to see. You got your features, Stop the Violence Accountability Program. What business would say no to, or what business or community member would say no to $19.99 a month, $20 a month, if it means that you're protecting your business. If it means that you're removing those who don't want to do good to an area where just let them do what they want to do. Because now you got an opportunity to have different options. I share with individuals again, there's places for people who have already turned into zombieism and will never change. Why are we still letting them affect our lives by people dying in our city, kids dying in our city? We got mental illness where people are killing their own family members. We need programs. We need specific programs that they're looking for. There's a lot of programs out there, and I don't knock any program, but there's a lot of programs out there that are not addressing the inside. I can provide you with financial literacy, but if I don't address the inside first, just knowledge that you have here, but you can't operate from a wisdom perspective. Why? Because you're wounded. That scar, that wound has to heal before you're able to hear exactly what it is that I'm sharing with you. And if that wound is not healed, you're going to wound someone else. That's why I say hurt people hurt people. Now let me know if that makes sense. How it works: pick a package that best fits your budget, register, and let us do the rest. And on our website, we're going to show you every step of the way what it is that we're doing. But we have to have you to register. 540K businesses, 1.4 million people use our platforms, whether it's the Spotify, whether it's the virtual directories, whether it's the VibeTalk, which is the virtual conference, whether it's TikTok. A lot of these programs, TikTok is not charging anything. Spotify, if you want a premium package, you can do that. YouTube, of course, our YouTube version is not charging anything. On our YouTube, it's a combination of Patreon. It's a combination of vlogging. If you want to vlog with video vlog, it's a combination of live pay-per-views, a combination of donation, it's a combination of live streaming, and the list goes on. We just put all of them together on one platform to where it's just like crazy. It makes sense? So, let me read this. I think I already said it though anyway. The future of our children depend on us. And all we need and all we're doing is using AI to control our own narratives by empowering communities. And we can do this in every major city. It's just a matter of you registering. Look past this. Look past all of the negative connotations that have built up over the years. lot of us is just walking pain. We're walking in pain. We dress good on the outside. We go home, we're frustrated. We're angry. We're hurt. We're lonely. We need to rebuild the women. We need to rebuild the men. They need to take these courses so that we can learn how to love again, so that we can learn how to hear and understand and effectively communicate with the person that's with us. We need these programs. We need you to simply register. And if you have any questions, we're going to be doing weekly channels to where you can tune in and listen. It's imperative that our youth, and once it starts, you're going to see our youth on their own programs, right? They're going to be talking amongst each other. We're talking about suicide. They're going to talk about mental illness. They're going to be sharing. We've been hiding our shame for so long to where the only way it's going to get out is they have to see that there's other people that's having the same concerns and issues that they have. They need to see this. Right? We're controlling the narrative. And wait till you see our version of ChatGPT. It's going to blow your mind. I can't say much about it, but our version. Remember, you can create it to eliminate jobs. You can create it to create jobs. And there's so much more. I can't give you everything. There's phase 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 10 phases. This is phase 1. Just imagine when you have an entire community. Because what's going to happen is the middle class is being removed. Look, just research it. All over the country, middle classes are becoming homeless. They're in shelters. People that you've never seen or even imagined are living with other people now, right? They don't have the resources. What if I share with you that in phase 4, they will be compensated by the people? For those who can't move and still want their, so the quicker we start, the quicker phase 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it's 10 phases can come into play. Can't show them to you everything right now, but we're sharing with you what phase 1. And I'm going to let you see this plan of action so you can follow us each step of the way, right? Make sense? Thank you for being a part of UMYO, UMYO, Unmasking Your Opinion. For so long we've been told that we do not have a voice. I'm not a politician. I'm just a vessel that's been used by a creator to share the dream that he has given me. Not here to step on any toes, not here to hate anyone. Regardless of how you feel, I know that it came from somewhere. So I don't blame you. I was talking to this, one of our marketing managers. He's a European guy, right? And he was like, Cherry, I apologize. I said, man, let me share something with you. Because I'm not the traditional person, right? He's very professional, works corporate America. He's a corporate, former corporate America, whatever. And I said it'd be very difficult for you to hurt my feelings. Because I don't operate in feelings. And however you feel is based upon how you was raised. Right? I've seen so much trauma in my life to where small things don't faze me. I understand that racism is there. I understand that prejudices are there. I experienced it in my life. I experienced both sides of black on, what they call it, Nubian on Nubian crime. Brother was shot and killed. We're all 2 years apart. It was 3 of us, and I have 3 sons. Right? So it's a correlation there. It's a spiritual correlation there. Right? Been harassed by the police officers. I've seen both sides. Worked in corporate America. Worked in the film industry. I've seen both sides. Worked with politicians, judges, district attorneys, sat in rooms with police officers, chiefs. I've seen it all. So what I'm sharing with you that we have people in office that doing the best, some are doing the best that they can, but if you don't know what solutions are, if you're not a born solutionist, then you can only do the best that you're able to do. But the best that you're able to do is not working because there's a division. And there's people that are even divided amongst their own party. Not making sense here. There was this went out of town to Vegas, and there was this European guy, very sharp guy, called me nigger, right? And but I know where the origin of the word came from. It came from us, and it meant royalty and king. So I educated. I said, you know, every time you say that, you're really empowering me because that means this. It doesn't mean what they put into the Webster's dictionary. It means royalty and king. So continue to call me that. He looked at me like, this dude is crazy. And I said, can you please call me that again? Call me royalty. I said, it's you who don't have the true definition of Niger, Nagra, Naga. It's you who don't know what it means. I know what it means. I've done my research. So you're calling me royalty, but you don't know. What happens is people will take your word, right, and they'll make it a negative, so you don't understand the power behind it. Because we're so into our feelings to where we think it means what you have been learned to think what it means. And we gave you our power. I know what it means. And because I know what it means, I'm hearing it different. So I can educate you and say, call me that again. Call me royalty. What? And the person who was with me wanted me to knock the guy out. I said, this little dude, I will hurt him. But once we achieved the purpose, and the guy was like so in awe, I said, let me show you what it means. Huh? Let me show you what it means. And he was like, no, that's all right. I said, well, can you call me that again? No, because you're definitely not royalty. I said, well, you call me royalty. Well, that's not what I meant. Don't let someone take away your power and put their definition on it. When life and death lies in the bowels of the tongue. The tongue set it on fire, the course of nature. So when you spoke that, you spoke power in me. Because of the origin of the word. What it truly means. But because we're in our feelings and we hear it, and you're calling me this. No, that's not the true word. You're calling me this. Call me that. So I don't trip. I don't trip on anything that a person says. I share with my son. They grew up in mixed martial arts. Used to do the competitions and all that, and they don't have to have fights. I said, don't fight. You don't have to show people what it is you have. You don't have to show people what you know. Operate as a king. Operate. Take your position. As long as they don't put their hands on you. Even if they put their hands on you, don't go to the extreme. Just, and they gonna know when they feel that sharp pain, oh my God, that hurt. They gonna know I'm gonna leave that person alone. You didn't have to beat the person up. You didn't have to put them in an arm lock. You didn't have to put them in a headlock, leg lock. You didn't have to do that. You just kind of did one move and then just, please, sir, I don't want to have no problems. And they're going to move away because they're going to remember that pain. You know, how did he do that? You don't have to go to the extreme. And that's everybody who's got these. I was in a car with someone and a car went out in front of them. They just started cursing. Like, why did that bother you? Let the car go. Why did that bother you? For you to scream? Because they just let the car go. Whatever thou, what is it? So shall thou reap, right? So if you let somebody in front of you, when you need somebody when you need someone to let you in front of them, they're going to do that because that's what you sowed. Look at it from that perspective. Whatever you sow it, that shall you reap. Don't get angry at them. Just say, you know what, you're in a hurry, let you go ahead and make it. And why are we in a hurry? Do people know that the lights are standard? Which means once you pass one light and you go to the next light, no matter how fast you go, you're going to end up at that red light after you didn't speed it past the person trying to hurry up. That's just how the lights operate. They're programmed that way. So the person who's seen you speed up and give them the finger, now you're right next to them. You ever notice you're right next to them like, man, I thought I was going fast. It has nothing to do with how fast you're going. It's a system of how the lights are working. So just relax a little bit and don't let the cares of life get you down. That's a part of my life coaching. Right? I have to do something like I can't help it. It's just part of who I am. Don't let the cares of life get you down. And learn to be free. To be you. So how do you do that? Well, you first find out who you are. How do you do that? Well, you open up your heart and you share what's in it with the person that's looking in the mirror. That's the beginning. Share with the person in the mirror. It's called the looking glass, right? What you're feeling. Right? And there's an origin to those emotions. Find that origin to that. It came from mom, it came from dad. And it's okay to talk to mom and dad about certain things. And if mom and dad don't respond, it's okay to just know that where it came from. And then say to yourself, just because doesn't mean I am. Because I am that I am. And that will make me different because you are different. And start walking with a sense of confidence of whatever you think of me, it's okay. Whatever you think of me, it's okay. Because I've already looked myself in the mirror. Anyone who points fingers at other people, whether it's on social media, whether it's on these content creators pages or whatever, they're feeling sad about themselves. Because they know that grace. I remember seeing a scripture, because I used to spank my children, and I feel guilty about that, right? And I came upon this passage. My son said, "No, Dad, you beat the shit out of us." Well, not that many times, right? But it doesn't matter. To me, I think I did. But I was young too, because that's how I grew up. That's my dad beat the shit out of us, right? So I just told myself I would never do that with my kids. So in my mind, I didn't go to the same extremes, but I still know that I went over, right? I know personally, based upon what I learned afterwards. I just remember reading a biblical scripture about the same grace that we give our children is the same grace that he's going to give us. And I knew that I needed grace. I was like, oh my God, sons, I am so sorry. Forever whooping you, forever spanking you. Because he's gave me unlimited grace. And there's a way, they respect you, they love you, there's a way that you can connect with them in a way that no one else can. And the respect that they will give you in return for just being honest. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't do what I did when it came to this. And to be truthful about not being right all the time. You're gonna see them look at you differently. Okay, this is over with. I'm kind of going into the life coaching courses, but when it comes to brothers, when I say brother, I don't mean of Nubian entity. I mean all men. There's a pain that we don't always address the way that we should address it. Whether that's with alcohol, whether that's with sex, whether that's with drugs, whether that's with anger, whether it's with hate. There's a certain pain that we don't know how to address. And let me share with you quickly how to address that pain. Find the origin. And once you find the origin, understand that just like mental illness, it's genetics. Or it's learned behavior. And if it's learned behavior, it can be unlearned. If it's genetics, it can be managed. Find the origin of that pain. But walk in forgiveness, understanding that before you made your decisions, they were based upon the experiences of your origin. And so was your origin was made based upon decisions that he or she experienced. Walk in forgiveness for them first, understanding that they did what they either learned or was genetics. And you did the same thing. Grace. Give them grace, give them forgiveness. Now once you forgive them and you understand that's all that they knew. A lot of times life doesn't come with an instruction book. We did the best that we could based upon our experiences. So once you forgive them, look in that mirror, pull out, even if that means you got a pen and a pad and you just want to write it down. You want to bury it in the backyard. Dig a hole, bury it, right? And water it. Water it. So while you're watering, you're giving life to something that have caused death in your life. So it's new. It makes sense? So, thank you, Virtual Branding Solutions. Again, I'm Bernard Gregory, Virtual Branding Solution. Talk with you soon.
So what's up, everybody? My name is Kalia Swan.
Yo, my name is Jeremiah Tompkins.
And what we're going to be doing today is poetry. And the name of this segment is Black Boy Joy / Black Girl Magic. And the name of this is Acronyms of Wisdom also. So, answer over Jeremiah.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours, it will be ours. Oh, one day, when the war is won, we will be strong, we will be strong, one day.
See, we was hanging by a rope like it's a demonstration, covering up the quote, making them false statements. And it's also true, but they replacing, making up lies and rules and all these regulations. See, they make it seem like it's equality with all these races. I take the truth and make stories on it, I'm meditating. Make sure you know the real deal about all this segregation. Talking how you talk, don't know about what we was raised in. But wait, holds me down with water, brutalize and slaughter. Say bye-bye to your family, they taking wives and daughters. She tried to win the rape, but all they did was caught her. Whiplashes all on her back, a pretty girl was scarred up. We need to realize this how all our people was brought up. And everything we need to know is what they haven't taught us. I'm talking real life things, by any means, I sit and dream. Cause this just ain't what it seems. The world is getting worse, it ain't no time for all this playing. Don't get your feelings hurt with every little things I'm saying. We need to come together now, no more debating, instead of slaying. Attention you need to be paying. Wait a minute, it's bogus. And the reason you say that is because you ain't all the way focused. Keep in mind, sometimes you gotta sit back and notice. Listen carefully, maybe you'll get the reason I wrote this.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours, it will be ours. Oh, one day, when the war is won, we will be strong, we will be strong, one day.
It's been a great experience for them and for all the kids here. It taught them so many things behind the scenes production, in front of the camera, acting, interviewing skills, all sorts of things, led by Mr. Cherry and Ms. Rachel Bitterman.
No more dependence on the government. We are depending on the people who believe that now is the time to reach our youth and give them a safe place to educate present and future hosts, directors, producers, writers, video techs, editors, news entertainment, and sports reporters, as well as news anchors who would otherwise never have the opportunity to develop due to the enormous cost of education. Do you understand what we are saying? It's free and it's because of your sponsorship. This also gives urgency. Normally, we wouldn't have the opportunity to be taught by the best motivators, life coaches, instructors, and educators who truly care. Currently, we are the first program consisting of only youth that co-produce, direct, host, film, and co-edits their own footage. With your help, there is no reason why we can't take these kids with idle time off the streets and give them a voice. A network that caters to youth to express themselves, sending them to different cities for interviews, hosting red carpet events, and creating their own form of media.
Hello, I'm Rachel Cherry, and I'm an OCC pal. You want to become an OCC pal?
We're going to be discussing the Oscars, which just recently happened. And I know I'm probably not the only one that thinks this, but it was weird. A lot of weird stuff happened in the Oscars that don't usually happen. This was the 66th annual Oscars awards show, and I always watch them. I always watch the Oscars. They're like one of my favorite things. You get to see famous people dress up in cool costumes and fashion and clothes that I'll never be able to afford. There's hosts of the show, which you can judge and compare to hosts of the past shows and like them or not like them. There was all kinds of little Trump slams smushed in everywhere. I mean, one director didn't even show up because of Donald Trump. He stayed in his country because he thought it was unfair that his country was on the list of countries that can no longer come to the U.S. according to Donald Trump's ban. And there were, this particular run, there were quite a few things that you don't see in Oscars, like little mistakes. Like, even in the very beginning of the performance, when the voice actress for the new Disney movie Moana was singing her song, and they had these cool little wooden poles with blue felt on them, and they were making pretty little flowers. It was great. It looked really cool. And then one of them ran up behind her and just smacked her in the back of the head. And I felt so bad for her as a performer. I understand how awful, how terrible and embarrassing that must have been. But she performed like a true professional, and she's only 16, so that was pretty cool.
And our entertainment expert, Paul Salvin, scores another big interview with one of the stars of the new movie, Unfinished Business. It's all right here this week on Drew Pearson Live.
Yeah, what's up? This is SPI 740, and right here we're on the set of Drew Pearson Live, and right here we have a Hall of Famer, Ring of Honor, and this man, he had 489 catches throughout his whole career, 7,822 receiving yards, and 48 touchdowns. He's from South River, New Jersey, and him, Tony Hill, became the first Cowboys wide receiver tandem to both have 1,000 yards in the same season. And him, Tony Hill, and Tony Dorsett both became the NFL's first triplet duo to have 1,000 yards. Well, 1,000 yards doing their job, like rushing. Tony Dorsett had 1,000 yards rushing. Mr. Drew Pearson had 1,000 and Tony Hill, at the least. So right now, let's go ahead and bring up our special guest for today, Mr. Drew Pearson.
Right on. Thank you, Isaac. It's great to be here. Jabari as well. Thank you. I didn't know I did all that. Can you repeat that again?